Only reverse migration can fully cure this situation. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving to all, except those that hate, steal, murder, and destroy everything that America stands for. You won't
Be
be
here
here for
long.
long.
Wow.
Hello, everyone. This is Jonathan Dean.
And this is Elvin Handy.
I want to welcome you to
Off
Off the
the Axis
Axis
Podcast.
Podcast. I got some big topics today. Really good show coming up. I'm going to start with the big Thanksgiving tweet, the reverse migration tweet by Donald Trump. We're going to move on to. I'm going to move on, and I'm going to also discuss, I guess, how media, video games, etc., are affecting children's minds with addiction levels, etc. And then I want to dive into a topic of I guess it's going to kind of lead on to sexuality and how that's playing a big part in hurting people's brains and some people that might be able to help us, some methods to help people get out of that, etc. What do you got today, Elvin?
That sounds great. I like those topics. My topics that I'm going to cover today is going to be the 11 NYPD vehicles that were broken into in New York City. I'm also going to cover the SNAP's benefit overhaul that just dropped this week. So that's going to be an interesting topic. And my last big topic is going to center around national-wide injunctions made by federal judges. And can a president really go around those injunctions?
Very good, very good. Okay, well let's dive right on in, guys.
Okay.
Let's see here. Let's pull up the tweet from Trump, and we're gonna
Alrighty.
start down. We're gonna skip all the retard comments about Tim Waltz and just go to the reverse migration part here.
Sweet.
We're gonna start off down here. Trump would like to. It looks like he would like to do some reverse migration, and here's what he has to say.
Reverse migration.
I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the U.S. system to fully recover, terminate all of the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe Biden's auto pen, and remove anyone who is not an asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country, end all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens of our country, denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility, and deport any foreign national who is a public charge, security risk, or non-compatible with Western civilization. These goals will be pursued with the aim of achieving a major reduction in illegal and disruptive populations, including those admitted through an unauthorized and illegal auto pen approval process.
Now, I like the sound of that.
That sounds good. Only reverse migration can fully cure this situation. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving to all, except those that hate, steal, murder, and destroy everything that America stands for. You won't be
here
here for long.
Wow.
What do you think, Elvin? What do you think?
Well, that's a mouthful. I mean, he's been kind of lackadaisical on some of these issues, especially when it comes to visa, the whole visa system thing. So I'm pretty happy to see him make a 360-degree turn when it comes to this topic. So hopefully he holds true to his word and he reverses this immigration policies that we have in order to kind of clamp down on this issue. You know what I mean?
Guys, this is the big problem I have with this. Every time Trump's poll numbers start to slack, every time he has some big, invigorating tweet to draw the base back in, draw his support back in. But the fact of the matter is, I personally don't expect much out of it.
Really?
I mean, we already had one 4-year term of Trump. We're about to start our second year. We're 11 months in.
Yeah, 11 months in.
We've only deported 350,000, I believe.
350.
Pretty garbage numbers, in my opinion. So, his numbers have been diving. We have midterms coming up. Sometimes Trump likes to test the waters with his tweets. So, just to see if his base is supporting what he's saying, how they feel about it.
Well, they definitely support this one.
This is what we elected him on.
Yeah, definitely.
This is why we voted for him. So, I don't understand why it hasn't happened already. He knows we want it. So I don't feel like this is one of those testing tweets where he's kind of throwing the bait out in the water to see what happens. I think he's genuinely worried about his approval numbers and then midterms coming up.
Okay, I can see where you're coming from with that.
But I guess the ultimate question is this just him piping more smoke?
I'm not sure. I mean, I hope it's not him piping more smoke. I hope he actually takes this serious and does reversal for immigration, because that really can help us out. It can help us out, especially for the future generations of Americans. So I hope he really takes this stance, because he does need to take this stance in order to do good. Well, not for him to do good, but in order for the Republican Party to do good in the midterms. So I'm hoping this checks out.
Well, 2 weeks ago it was 2 weeks ago it was Americans aren't good enough to do the job, and we need more H-1B1 visas. This week it's only reverse migration can fully cure the situation. I'm having some trust issues, guys. Completely honest, having some trust issues. I really hope he goes through with it.
Now, one thing I have to give him credit for when it comes to immigration is he might have been weak on visas, and he might be a little weak on deportation, but he is one of the only presidents, I would say, in modern day history that is kind of actively going into cities with immigration patrol, or ICE, like people like to call it. Because a lot of presidents, they really won't take that proactive approach to go deep into a city to remove people from the city. They kind of take a more lackadaisical approach. So I do like that he's doing that, at least, but I just wish he would just ramp up the numbers a little bit more when it comes to deporting people.
Would you be more likely to believe him if the wall was going up faster?
Yeah, that's true too.
Just saying, where's my wall?
Yeah,
Where's
that's true.
my wall?
That's true. 'Cause I remember the wall in his first term was going up, but I think the Biden administration paused it or something, correct?
Paused it, sold off pieces at auction for pennies on the dollar. It was a mess. It was a mess.
Wow, that's crazy.
What do you guys think? Let us know. You think he's gonna pull through with it? You think he's gonna go through with what he says, or do you think he's just ramping up things for the midterms, trying to get his poll numbers back up?
Yes, let us know. All right, well, let's get into our first big topic of the day.
All right, what you got for us today, Elvin?
Okay, guys, for our first big topic of the day, I'm going to be covering 11 NYPD vehicles broken into and vandalized a few weeks ago in New York. It happened at the 116th precinct at a New York police station. Now, before I get fully into the topic, I want to go over a video that's going to give more detail to you guys of what really happened with the scenario. So let's get into it.
NYPD looking for the vandal who targeted nearly a dozen of their cars in Queens. The vehicles, some marked police cars and some unmarked, were parked near the 116th precinct in Laurelton.
Is that a gunshot?
Where they were targeted.
Yeah, it is a gunshot. Bullet hole in the front window.
Shantae Lands is there live with a look at the damage. Shantae?
Oh, Sade, this is a brazen crime. 11 NYPD vehicles, windows smashed outside of this precinct, and at this hour, that suspect is still on the loose. One by one, NYPD vehicles are being towed after both marked and unmarked cruisers were vandalized overnight.
Is that a gunshot?
Crazy. It's quite unfortunate.
I think on that front window, on that first picture, that was a gunshot.
Being reported as such.
Material like that.
Smashed windshields, back
like
windows,
bricks,
and broken
rocks.
mirrors are what's left after
Yeah,
police say
he tore through
someone
them
damaged
cars.
the vehicles around 11:30 last night outside of the 116th Police Precinct
They
at
should have footage, right?
244th Street and North
You would
Conduit
think.
Avenue in Laurelton, Queens.
I mean, I don't know if they're trying to send a message or not, but it's quite unfortunate.
Trying to send a
This is
message.
a nice neighborhood too.
It's terrorism.
I lived there my whole
Yeah,
life.
definitely
I've never
terrorism.
seen nothing like that happen before.
Matthew Dayrush was at home at the time.
So when I was coming out for work, I saw some of the cars being towed away. I thought nothing of it because you know cars break down all the time. Nothing crazy. But now that I know it was vandalized, I'm kind of shocked.
The crime is brazen as multiple cameras are posted outside of the precinct.
There's actually one
Okay, so they do
right
have
now
cameras,
if you
okay.
want to look behind and see it. So I'm just surprised nobody said nothing, no one caught it.
Guessing
The
his
precinct
face was
is fairly
covered more
new,
than
opening
likely.
a few years ago with a
Yeah,
new
probably
community
so.
center.
On my way home, I actually saw that there was a class going on in a community center there. So definitely they are trying to like give back to the
Excuse my
community.
whiteness,
But
was he wearing a
hopefully
kerpa, a
they figure out
kaipa?
who did it.
A kerpa,
What are those things
Yeah,
called?
because if they feel comfortable enough to vandalize the cars, who's to say that they won't attack the
Usually what they're
precinct
covering their
next?
faces with these days.
That's true. That's true.
It's not clear what was used to damage those vehicles. No officers were inside any of them at the time.
Unclear
and so
what they
far,
used.
no motive or arrests. Live in Laurelton, Queens, Shantae Lands, Channel 7, Eyewitness.
Okay, guys, so I wanted to give y'all a brief rundown of what happened with that situation, with that video. Now, my take from this is obviously a anti-campaign hit by somebody that is against policing in New York. Now, this is sad because New York always has a very high crime problem. They have a police shortage problem, and things like this are going to continue to happen if New York it continues to have an anti-campaign against police. And also it doesn't help because their mayor that's coming in January 2026, Madani, he is also against police officers. He ran a whole campaign that went against police officers. So New York is really in for, I would say, a time period where violence is going to rise in their city, violence is going to rise in their neighborhoods, and it's really, really sad.
Mamdani has walked that back a little bit.
Oh, really?
He's walked it back a little bit in some public interviews, but he's a socialist. What do you think's going to come with it? Violence.
Right, violence. And I think a lot of times his walk back might be lies as to try to please certain people, because actually a few days ago he hired a person by the name of Alex Vitale. Now you guys might not be familiar with Alex Vitale, but Alex Vitale was hired to be his safety advisor in his administration. Alex Vitale wrote a book titled The End of Policing. So Alex Vitale wants to come into Madani's administration and put an end to policing. That's what he sees for the future of New York. And if you don't believe me, I want to show you guys a quote from his book. So a quote from Alex Vitale's book says, "The problem is not police training, police diversity, or police methods. The problem is the dramatic and unprecedented expansion and intensity of policing in the last 40 years, a fundamental shift in the role of police in society. The problem is policing itself." Now, this type of rhetoric coming from somebody that's going to be in the administration in New York City is problematic. New York City can't take a person like this that's going to come in and increase violence in the neighborhoods when violence is already high. What do you think?
Well, dissecting this tweet, when I was younger, I was trying to find my way, trying to find my views. Mm-hmm. So when it says the problem is the dramatic and unprecedented expansion and intensity of policing in the last 40 years, mm-hmm. We do know that the police forces have been largely militarized.
Yeah, some of them have.
But I think it was due to necessity, not due to any sort of fascist idealism or anything like that. And the expansion of policing in the last 40 years, well, we know the last 10 years, it has not been an expansion of policing. We've had reduced police forces, reduced police funding.
Especially in blue cities like New York, they have a shortage of police officers.
Even here in Tallahassee, we've had a reduction in funding many years. Maybe not every year, but many years we have a reduction in police funding.
Definitely.
I know a lot of police officers here. It hurts their overtime. It kills their pay, their raise opportunities. It's been rough on the cops here. So in a larger city, I can't imagine the repercussions that are going to occur.
But don't you think it's pretty sad that Madani is bringing someone into his administration that has a book that centers around the end of policing?
It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
But not surprising.
Pretty
scary, not surprising.
Yeah, it's definitely not surprising, but it is pretty scary because no police in a city is just pure mayhem. So I just want the New York citizens to just realize who you're voting for. Vote for something better. Vote for some change. Vote for somebody that's going to bring in some I would say, peace in your city. You don't want anybody that's going to bring in violence and just mayhem everywhere.
Too late. They made their bed. Now they're going to sleep in it.
Yep. Now they lie in the bed that they made.
Unfortunately, that's a city that I'd like to visit again someday. I have had a lot of really great memories in New York City, but currently, as is, I would not go back.
I'll visit when Madani leaves.
I'll visit when he leaves and they have 4 years of intense change.
Yeah, definitely. Because after he leaves, they're going to need a cleanup crew to come in and clean up everything that he's done.
Bring back Giuliani.
Bring back Rudy.
Bring him back.
That's funny. Now, to end this topic, I want to show you guys, they think they have the suspect that did this. It was a lone person that did this. Let me show you guys the suspect that they believe done this. So, this article says, New York City, a 22-year-old man has been arrested and charged after nearly a dozen NYPD vehicles were vandalized in Queens on Monday. Police said on Thursday, Christian Greenwright.
Oh, it's going to be a skinny white boy. I already know it. I already know it. It's going to be a skinny little gay white boy.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. Of Long Island faces a slew of charges, including reckless endangerment, criminal mischief, criminal possession of a weapon, and resisting arrest. The incident happened in Jamaica near the 116th precinct around 11 p.m., police said. So, as you know, this is New York, so I wouldn't get too excited about this because he probably won't face much prosecution for doing this. He'd probably be out in a week. They probably going to give him a SNAP food card.
Do they have aren't there no bail laws in New York City?
Yes, they have that too. So that's why
he'll be out.
Yeah,
he'll go
be
to
out.
jail. He'll be out the next day, and then he will await court proceedings.
Exactly.
In which case, the district attorney will ask for a minimum charge, minimum sentence, and the judge will comply, and he will serve little to no time, I'm betting.
Yes, he'll serve little to no time.
Can we get a picture of this guy? Can we pull up a little search and see if we can find a picture of this guy?
Yeah, we probably could find a picture of him.
Can we see if we can find him on I don't know, Instagram, Facebook,
anything, Instagram, Facebook,
anything like that. Let's get a peek at what he looks like. This might be fun. Let's see. I'm gonna go with shaggy blonde hair, 5'11", 140 pounds.
140 pounds.
Possibly looks like he suffered from fetal alcohol syndrome.
See some images on the internet.
Let's see what we got here. Let's see.
140.
That's just my guess. No pictures.
It might be hiding his identity.
Yeah, well, that's pretty typical. Was this it right here? Up here? Christian arrested.
Oh, wait, here we go. That might be it right here.
I don't think that's right. That guy's not 22 years old.
That's not right at all.
Christian, not Christian. All right.
Yeah, I think they're hiding his identity. But you're probably right. He probably does fit that demographic.
He's going to look like a liberal, and so they're not going to release it.
Yeah, so they're going to try to protect him as much as they can, and it's only going to lead to more people doing the same thing he's doing by them protecting him. So it's pretty sad what New York is going through. All right, so let's get into our next topic.
All right, let's start off with an interesting topic. So I guess we know that young men are very unenthused about the current standing of young women. You can see it in podcasters. You can see it in internet personalities.
That's true.
I've even spoken with a young man who's a family member and asked him why he doesn't date. And he was very clear. He said he doesn't believe that the young women are good. He outright said he thinks too many of them are whores, and he just doesn't believe that for him as a Christian young man, there's a woman currently there that he's been able to find that would suit his needs for dating.
Okay.
People like Nick Fuentes, Myron Gaines, Walter Weeks, Nick Adams, Jonathan Haywood, they all go over the same topic in depth.
Yes, they do.
They really discuss the bad situation with the dating pool for young men.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just wanted to, I guess I'll start off with, as men, we have a lot of prominent males that we can look to for guidance. We had Charlie Kirk, who, was a great man who could teach you how to have a lasting relationship, treat your wife well, how your wife should treat you, how you should treat people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
We have a plethora. And I was under the impression that young women did not have the same resources that we have. So I got into doing some research. The only name I could really come up with on my own was like Caitlin Bennett. She pops up on my feed a lot. I was like, she seems like a strong one. I couldn't think of any other names. So
okay,
I guess I'd like to start by, giving a list for, parents or young women out there. I doubt we have a lot of young women listeners, but, maybe even parents who are just looking for a place to have their children really have good views and morality and some people they could look up to.
Right.
So I just want to give a few names that I was able to come up with. And now that I've read the names, it makes sense. They all popped up. I kind of remember them. But
okay.
We have Allie Beth Stuckey. She is with Blaze Media. She is New York best-selling author of You're Not Enough and That's Okay, and Toxic Empathy. She critiques birth control, antidepressants, toxic empathy, promotes holistic wellness, health, overall health. She's an evangelical, so she's always preaching with scripture in her episodes. Maybe not always, but frequently going through scripture.
Okay.
She has a large summit every year in Dallas, a Dallas Women's Summit that she hosts with 6,700 attendees. So the movement's larger than I realized.
Okay.
Another name that came up was Alex Clark.
Alex Clark.
And she's with Turning Point USA, focuses on natural health for women, warning on microplastics, vaccines, birth control, promotes fertility awareness, clean eating, homeschooling, anti-modern disease strategies, and also she integrates a lot of biblical teaching into her teachings as well. So
Okay.
that's another great one. Brett Cooper at the Daily Wire, who's also a Turning Point USA contributor.
Yes, I know Brett
You've
Cooper.
probably seen a good bit of her. She speaks on mental health crisis a lot, and how women can possibly find some value in having a home and marriage and kids.
That's great.
She promotes exercise, nutrition, a lot of the same things the other women are promoting.
Okay.
She also really encourages church involvement with young women. So that's really cool with her. She's one of the largest people for turnouts with the TPUSA events actually.
Oh, wow.
So she really kills it. So it's a great resource for you if you have young women in your life who might need some guidance or you want to share some videos with them. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'll give some more names. There's Isabel Brown. You got Riley Gaines, which a lot of people probably only know Riley through the sports.
Yes, I've definitely heard of Riley Gaines.
But she has a pretty big TikTok now, or a pretty big TikTok now. She has a pretty big listeners on X, over 1 million followers.
Wow.
She's a Christian woman. So those are some great names that you guys could possibly point them in the roots of. And I guess this movement, there are also historical foundations in the movement for helping women. So I'd like to mention those two if you wanted to look back at older people. Phyllis Schlafly.
Yes, I heard of her.
Yep. She's a great one. Beverly at LaHaye, which I've never heard of, but she's been promoting Christian values and for women in America since 1979.
Oh, wow.
Good news is, well, I'm not going to just plant bad news first, but let's start off with some good news. Since the 2024 election, actually, post Roe, we've seen it studies are showing between a 5 and 10% rightward shift in young women.
Really? Wow.
And that's totally unexpected. I thought it was the opposite.
Is that across all generations? Or a certain generation?
It says women 18 to 29, and that's a Wall Street Journal.
So more of that Gen Z, later millennial type of.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's reported by Wall Street Journal in November 2025. That was taken.
Okay.
Driven by disillusionment with girl bosses and feminism's loneliness epidemic is what they're equating it to.
Gotcha.
So those are some good topics. Some good women that
Yeah, because I think
can look up to.
The ages between, I would say, 30 in that 30 to 50 range did take on that girl boss type of mentality. So,
and it really has not worked out well for them. Their happiness is at an all-time low.
Yeah.
All-time low statistically. They're telling people themselves, studies are saying they are very unhappy.
And a lot of antidepressant usage as well too.
Yes. Yeah. So we can get into this a little bit. The average U.S. woman 18 to 30 has 6 to 12 lifetime partners. 20 to 25% have 15 plus. And men say they overwhelmingly will not marry a woman or have a long-time partner if she has more than 6 to 7 before he meets her.
Wow.
So you can't hate a young man for feeling that way. We know what it does to the brain, and we know what it does to young men's brain too. So
yeah, OverSexualization is not good for anyone.
Absolutely not. It's really, and then you can move into women that age, on average, have $34,000 of student loan debt when they meet a man. Most men, or many men, they're saying this makes them unwifeable.
Wow.
Unwifable, which $34,000 of student loan debt's not crazy.
That's not too crazy.
No, I had much more than that at one time.
I remember.
Oh man, I had a lot more than that.
I remember.
We won't touch on that. I was not the smartest kid.
There's also another interesting study. I don't know if you ever heard about it. That the more sexual partners a woman has, the less they can connect with a partner in the future. So that's a very interesting topic too. If you ever want to look that up.
I've dove deep into that topic before, actually. And when a man, are we allowed to say this on YouTube?
I believe so.
We're just going to do it. When a man, inside there.
Yeah.
That DNA is actually shared inside of the woman.
Yeah.
Every single man that does, you share his DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes back, we don't know exactly the effects of that yet. But if it's staying there, it's having some sort of effect on the human body for sure.
It definitely is. It's some type of connection that you're gonna remain with that individual by having that connection with them, by having doing that act with them. So it's a very interesting topic.
You're engaged. I'm married. What do you think one of the main things to keep a relationship happy is?
Well, I would say first you want to keep God first in your
Absolutely.
relationship because that'll help keep it together and keep it strong. Um,
What about compromise?
yeah,
How we have to
compromise is a big one too.
compromise every day.
Yeah, you
Every
do
day
have to
you have to
compromise.
compromise with your partner.
You definitely do.
So let's see here. They had another survey here. 41% of men under 30 say women their age are not willing to compromise on anything,
On anything.
on any topic in
Wow.
any way.
Wow.
So there's another reason young men are not really interested in young women. They're disillusioned with the dating scene.
And see, that's where that girl boss mentality from feminism really came in at, that they wanted their way and no other way. They want to lead with everything. And even the Bible points to that, because even the Bible says a man is supposed to be the leader in the relationship. So it's crazy that a lot of women don't want to compromise when it comes to the guy they're dating or the guy they're married to. It's just insane to me.
How about this? 42% of women 20 to 39 are obese.
Oh, wow.
Of course, men are disillusioned.
Wow.
So bad attitudes paired with bad looks, paired with bad health.
Yeah.
People who are unhealthy don't reproduce children. Ultimately, when we're seeking a partner, whether we know it or not, whether we admit it or not,
definitely,
we're seeking reproduction.
Right.
Innately.
Right.
Innately. It's in our biology. There's just no
It
way
is.
around it. So that's another thing that's hurting them. But on the other side, 9% of women, only 9% of women say they would date someone who is on the opposite end of the spectrum of them politically. So
only 9%.
only 9%. Yeah. So that's quite wild. So I guess another thing that I know I'm not allowed to say this word on YouTube, but it's called it's commonly referred to as the divorce RA blank E, you know?
Oh, okay. I think I know you're talking about.
Yeah, that's a risk, and it essentially comes down to men getting screwed when marriages don't work out.
Got you.
50-50 split of whether or not he was the biggest provider and was working the hardest.
And it really comes down to that no fault divorce.
Yes.
And you know who implemented that?
Who?
It was really one of his biggest mistakes, because he was a great president, Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan.
He implemented no fault divorce, and I think later on in life he actually admitted that he regretted doing that because it caused a lot of problems when it came to American relationships. But yeah, he did invent
I think
it.
a lot of Ronald Reagan's beliefs and things he pushed for were good in the moment.
Yeah.
But looking back, we can now see they've been detrimental. Not saying he was a horrible president.
Yeah, he wasn't a horrible president.
I think us as conservatives frequently become too enamored with him.
Yeah, because he is like that pinnacle of a conservative president.
Absolutely.
But he did make a lot of mistakes, though.
Let's see. Moving on. So we're gonna stick with the same topic, but I guess I would like to touch on this for young men and women. Getting laid is not the same as being fulfilled.
Yeah, it's definitely
you're not getting fulfillment. And actually, having casual sex with someone is a way to not find fulfillment. Mm-hmm. Studies show that there is a 30% rise in dopamine and producing happy feelings after sex for women and men.
Wow.
But within 30 minutes after finishing, there's a 50% drop in the same hormonal responses. So
wow.
The unhappiness, it's not even tomorrow when you think about what you did, or the day after, or weeks after. It is immediate.
So it's kind of like a drug effect.
Yes, it's absolutely like a drug effect. And I think a lot of it has to do with people seeking constant validation. They're unhappy with themselves.
Yeah.
They're trying to find worth and value inside of a sexual partner or a sexual experience. You see these young men all the time. Oh, bro, I hooked up with it's gay. It's gay. Stop bragging about your sexual conquest. It's gay. Don't do it.
It doesn't make sense why they brag about that.
So I gotta, I myself even had some problems with, being maybe a little too promiscuous when I was younger. And I went through a long process of gaining that back. I was bodybuilding at the time. I would do those 6 months of celibacy with clean eating and and I wouldn't even talk to women, and I'd only talk to friends and follow my hobbies. And
I remember that.
I was really intense about it.
And that's when you progressed the most.
I had amazing progress. I got myself into church and all these different things, but I devised and went through a bunch of studies on some methods that if you feel like you've if you feel like you've gone through this and you had too many sexual partners and you feel like it may have corrupted your brain, you're not permanently damaged.
No.
But if you do not take steps to overcome, you're not going to get past it. You're going to continue to keep doing it over and over because you're going to seek the validation, seek the dopamine spike, try to feel your self-worth. So I want to go through this little way that people can actually find happiness.
Okay.
Before we get into that, actually, we had the mood crash, the negative effects. The crash, like I said, the crash is bigger. But yeah, let's just go ahead, and we don't need to talk about the 23-year-old girl with 40 bodies talking about how all men suck. We can go over that. We can skip that.
She sucks.
Yeah. But so does the guy doing the same thing. You suck. You suck.
Yeah, both genders doing that suck. Definitely.
You're hurting yourself. Maybe it feels good for, the 5 minutes that you last, Playboy. But it's you're damaging yourself. So
definitely.
If you've experienced these things, I'd like to give young men and young women a plan of action on how they can get through it, how they can overcome these things that are damaging them inside. I know you feel it. If you're experiencing this, I know you feel it. If you know people who are going through it, maybe this will help you, and maybe you can provide this information to them, and it can help get through. So phase 1, I called Stop the Bleeding.
Okay.
And that's essentially to get through the hard part of breaking those bad habits. And 30 to 90 days, no sex, complete detox, no porn, block your exes, block your booty calls. If you need to, go tell your friends, just like I would do to you. I'd be like, hey, man, I'm off the market. I'm not going out seeking women for 3 months. Let your friends know so they can support you in it and help you get through it. The cold turkey is the way to go. It lowers anxiety between 40 and 60% in men.
Wow, that's a lot.
Going cold turkey. And that's within the first 30 days. Their anxiety can be reduced by 50 or so percent. They're going to
that's
get
really a lot.
daily sunlight, 60 to 90 minutes of intense exercise, whether it be weightlifting or HIIT or whatever it may be. But get out there and exercise. It'll get your dopamine flowing again. Start getting that happiness flowing again.
Right.
Just get your baseline up. And then sleep. We all know how important sleep is to recover from anything. And this is trauma. This is trauma. In order to recover from trauma, you need to get your sleep. So
definitely.
7.5 to 9 hours of sleep. Get that every night, because 70% of treatment-resistant depression is associated with sleep deprivation.
Wow.
So that's
I didn't know that.
You need a blackout room, no screens 1 hour before bed. Cut alcohol and weed to 0. I saw
now that it truly is the devil, alcohol and weed.
Yes,
I mean
is.
that definitely knocks a man off his purpose.
I had alcohol problems when I was younger. I smoked pot for almost all of my life since I was probably 12 years old. I recently quit, and I can say after a week, because it's only been a week. I'll be honest, guys. It's only been a week since I quit using any form of THC. My brain is firing. I'm telling you, my production is through the roof. My happiness is through the roof. My personal relationships are getting better. So you can't hang on to that and start this process of recovery. It's just not going to work, guys.
No, it won't.
I did see some studies that were like, you could try kratom or kava as a short-term crutch. The whole point of this is to go through something difficult and make yourself stronger. So I don't recommend that. Let's move on to phase 2. So phase 2 is going to be predominantly focused on rebuilding your own personal self-worth without having it attached to sex. It might take 3 months. It might take 12 months. Anywhere in that period is very normal. Some practical things that you can do to aid in that discomfort, because discomfort does make us stronger. You can go the Joe Rogan method, do an ice plunge, take a cold shower in the morning.
Ice plunge, great ice plunge.
Start your day off with a 5-minute cold shower. It is going to make you.
Have you ever tried an ice plunge?
Oh yeah.
I've never tried one before. It looks painful.
I love them. I love them, but I tell you what. So that helps a lot. It retrains your brain how to tolerate pain without external relief, I guess is the best way to put it. So you might be feeling the pain of not loving yourself enough, and you need some relief, and maybe that's why you return into all this promiscuity and sexual activity and sexual deviancy. Put yourself in some pain.
Yeah.
As Charlie Kirk, I got a quote here from him: "Purpose is the only long-term dopamine source that you never crash from." Having purpose in your life. So,
that's true.
Good thing for young people to do. Pick something that's hard and master it. So whether you want to learn jujitsu, Muay Thai, if you want to become a weightlifter, if there's a business that you want to start, invest yourself into something that is going to make you a better person, and put 20 hours a week into it.
Okay.
Really focus on it. Don't make it easy on yourself. This is a serious thing, guys, and it's affecting the whole country, and it's going to affect the future of our country in a negative way as well.
Yeah, because we have a ton of weak men now.
A ton of weak men.
Ton.
Our birth rate is gone.
Yeah,
we're at the lowest birth rate in the history of America.
Yeah.
We're going to see society fail because of this if we don't get it quickly changed.
We will.
For sure. Another big thing, get yourself in church. 1 or 2 times a week. Maybe do church once a week. Maybe have a study group with a close friend. All things can be fixed through God, but also these other things are going to help you, but that has to be an integral part of your recovery. It must be.
And if you can't make it to church, at least take some time out, maybe on the weekend, or Saturday or Sunday, and sit down and read the Bible and kind of get a connection going with God,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. But doing it as a group also helps you stay accountable.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Having that accountability is important. Very, very important. So faith practice actually 2 to 3 times at post promiscuity, 2 to 3 times higher recovery rate if you're based in faith.
Oh, wow.
So that's huge.
That is huge.
And also, shame thrives in secrecy. If you're ashamed of something, you might be likely to keep doing it. Whether you're a young man who's addicted to porn, who's going to go tell someone they're addicted to porn? It's embarrassing.
And we don't have shame anymore in our society. So that's another big problem too.
Go to a man you look up to. Go to your pastor. Go to your, I guess your father would be a weird one on that. But find someone with integrity and morality that you could trust, and go to them and be honest. Be honest with them. That's a great way to help push you past it. That really puts it in the forefront of your mind. You're embarrassed about it. You need to feel that embarrassment a little bit. Like I said, this isn't supposed to be an easy recovery. This is going to change your life for the better.
Yeah, that's not an easy recovery.
So tell somebody your worst story. Tell somebody your most promiscuous worst story, and feel bad about it, because you should. Financial stress is another thing to touch on. You really need to focus on getting some financial stress in this 3 to 9 months out of your way. It causes such a higher level in anxiety, and that anxiety will cause you to possibly relapse. So it's important to get that. So whether you need to get a second job to get your income up, whether you need to move to a different area to have more opportunity in jobs, whatever the need, you need to. That's a great one.
That is a great one.
All right, let's move on to phase 3. What did I call this one?
Phase 3.
Okay, phase 3 is you're going to begin to re-enter into relationships.
Okay.
But you're going to do it in the proper way. You're not going to do it like you did before. You're not going to be meeting a girl at the bar or whatever. Nothing like that. The most important thing with phase 3, I'd say, is when you meet someone, you're going to want to vet them. You're trying to get out of the trenches. You don't want to be with someone who's still in the trenches.
Right.
So when you're, your first 3 dates, maybe you ask questions, which are totally legit questions if you're looking for a partner. Like, how do you feel about people with a lot of partners? Or how do you feel about those with a high body count? These are questions you should be asking people when you're starting to date again.
Definitely. That's true.
You don't want to get drugged back down.
Yeah, you don't. And somebody can bring you back down.
Right. And then you also don't want to get used by someone who's only using you to boost their own self-confidence back up. Because then it's going to hurt your confidence again and tear you back down.
Is it?
So I think that's a really important one. Let's see. No sex at all. 3 to 6 months in the first half of this relationship. You want a good girl? You got to treat her like a good girl. You got to be a good man. You want a good man? You got to be a good girl. You got to treat people right. You got to know. You got to live by what you're trying to get. If you're not living in the way to get what you want, which is ultimately happiness and satisfaction in a relationship. And there's probably a lot of people out there that, I don't want a relationship. I just like sleeping around. You guys are losers. You don't love yourselves. And if you really look inside, I'm not saying this to be mean, because I have been there, but you're struggling internally, and you know this. You know it. So that's a big one, is the no sex. You mentioned the oxytocin bonding earlier.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so that I had a little bit written here. If you delay it, there's no oxytocin bonding. So you're gonna weed out those people who are seeking that, who are addicted to having that fill.
I
So
see.
that's really important.
Okay.
Um, some notes on that. Every year delay past 30 cuts marital happiness by 5%, along with
Wow.
an increased rise of 5% of divorce.
Oh, wow.
So that's huge. Um, if you're dating, you should be dating with marriage as your explicit goal. You don't want a best friend who you're not have, you want to build a life with someone. You want someone you can trust. You want someone you can depend on. You want
Yes.
someone who can give you advice in those hard times as a man when you might not be emotionally strong enough. And as a woman, maybe when you're feeling a little overly emotional, might need some grounding, whatever the case.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really important as well. Surround yourself with other couples, successful couples.
That's a good
So
one.
as you guys are starting your relationship together, that's really important for me and my wife. We didn't do it so much at first, but as we've grown together, we found that our growth has really started to accelerate the more we hang out with successful couples.
But I do say you are who you hang around.
Absolutely.
So it rubs off on you.
You show me your top 3 friends, I'll show you who you are.
Yes, that's the saying. That's how it goes.
So your social circle is the number one predictor of long-term happiness. Are you hanging out with depressed people? Or are you hanging out with people who are sleeping around to find self-validation? Got to get them out of your circle.
Okay.
So, I kind of built this based on a lot of different studies I'd found and information from psychiatrists, psychologists that I'd found. So I do want to show people who've used very similar methods to this, just to give you guys some success stories so you don't think it's fake. They didn't strictly use what I've come up with here, but they use some similar program.
Similar. Okay.
26-year-old man, won't put a name on it, 80 plus body count, heavily suicidal. He did 14 months of monk mode, moved to Texas, joined an Orthodox parish. He is now married to he's 28 years old.
28.
He's now married to a 22-year-old virgin, or she was a virgin, but now they're married. And is he expecting his first kid? He owns a successful business, and he has said that he doesn't battle with depression anymore.
Really?
At all.
That's great.
At all. Me personally, I've gotten rid of these things. I battled with zero depression when I was younger. Massive issues with depression. You remember? I built my business up, super strong, mighty.
Yeah, I do remember that. And it go right back down.
Crash my business just because I was depressed. This one isn't a personal individual we know, but I found this instance. A 29-year-old woman, OnlyFans passed, 50-plus bodies, converted to Catholicism, did 18 months of celibacy, moved back home with her parents temporarily. She is now engaged to an engineer she met at Latin Mass.
Wow.
So not quite the success story fully yet, but working there.
Yeah, she's getting there.
Yeah, absolutely. And this person is, I'm not going to say what he does, but he is a coach, a local coach, 32-year-old, sold everything, became a monk for 2 years, and is now married with twins.
Oh, wow.
Runs a men's Christian retreat that's very successful.
Hmm.
So follow the steps, guys, and you can have success, you can have happiness again, you can have self-validation again. This is really important to me because I battled with it, and I would like to see people free from this. It's not something we have to battle with, and the sooner we try to move through it, the sooner we can be happy again.
Very true.
Some books for the guys. No more Mr. Nice Guy, the Rational Male. That'd be a great book to start with. We'll teach you how to rationalize, deal with your emotions, but also how to be firm in your convictions.
Okay.
Meditations by Marcus Aurelius.
I have heard of Marcus Aurelius.
Classic. It is a must read. The Bible, clearly. Got to stick with that. So like I said, guys, get yourselves involved in some communities that can help you succeed, whether it be Christian communities or even jujitsu or softball or whatever. Find
something. Get active in something.
Healthy people who are really working hard to better themselves or have like common goals or things like that. But I just don't want to see young people be miserable anymore, and I also don't want to see, unfortunately, these young men be out here like all women are whores and women are terrible, they're the worst, blah blah blah. It takes strong men to fix this, and it takes strong women to fix this, and that comes down to personal decisions. Each and every one person must do it in order to bring the group up. So
yes, that's true.
you know, if you guys have any more questions on that, I have a plethora of research that I've done. I'd be more than willing to share anything I know, any knowledge I've acquired in the last couple weeks.
Yes, comment down below if you have any questions for John. Definitely.
That'll wrap that up. I don't want to bang the drum too much longer, but
okay.
But I thought it was a really important topic to touch on.
No, that's a very good topic. I'm glad I heard that. All right. Well, we can go on to our next topic.
Guys, I'm through my 3 to 9 month program. So if I want to have a little glass of whiskey in the evening, I will. It's maybe once a week. So don't think that I'm out here raging and caging John Dean that used to be wilding out. I'm just having myself one classy, expensive 2 fingers of whiskey.
Okay, guys. So we're going to get into our next topic. It's going to be about the SNAP benefits overhaul that dropped this week. Now, the SNAP benefits overhaul comes from the big, beautiful bill. Now, apparently, the overhaul is coming with saving taxpayers billions of dollars. But before I get into the details of the overhaul, I want to check out this funny video that I found where it's a lady that's refusing to leave the grocery store because her EBT card just won't work. Crazy, right?
Crazy.
5843.
Using the lead.
Oh, the cashier's already pissed. You can tell.
Yeah, she already pissed.
Not my card. Oh, it declined.
Declines twice. Why she got fresh? Why does she have fresh ink on her arm? Oh, that's a fresh tattoo.
Fresh,
but you're
color
using,
and everything.
But you're using EBT and bitching.
It's still declined. I know you lying. You might want to call your card because it ain't working.
Might want to call your card. The government don't answer the phone. We all know that.
What you mean? What be wrong with your screen or something?
Something wrong with your screen.
You started, you know. Now this is right here.
Oh, there's a baby in the back
So sad.
that you're feeding Funyuns to. Now this baby's gonna be fat like you.
And watch this manager. It's so funny.
She saying my card ain't working. Swiping again, funny man. It declined. It's not working. Oh, I got money on this card. I just checked this card yesterday. Go outside and talk to Jesus. No.
Go outside and talk to Jesus. Oh, pause that for a second. She shot that down so quick. Go outside and talk to Jesus. That lady, you could tell both these women already dealt with this bullshit more than once.
Oh yeah, it's happened a lot.
She had that talk to Jesus preloaded.
Yeah.
She already knew what she was gonna say.
She knew it. It's so funny. That was such a funny.
Oh my goodness.
Funny response.
I'm gonna let you swipe it until you get tired. This lady has had enough of their shit.
EBT card like it's a black.
So guys, I just want you to show that funny video of a woman just completely losing her mind because her EBT card's not working. Now I'm gonna go over the details of this overhaul, but we're gonna go over it first in a video from Fox Station.
All right, what you got?
Okay. All right, so let's start this up.
Brand new work requirements for food stamp recipients, thanks to the
Her voice
big,
cracks
beautiful
me
law. Those kick in today and could save taxpayers billions. Fox Business's Darren Botello joins us now from Capitol Hill with more. Hey, Darren.
Billions and billions.
Hi, Dagan. So starting today, millions of food stamp recipients all across the country are going to have to work, volunteer, or participate in job training for at least 80 hours a month. Those are the new requirements. As you said, this is all under the One Big Beautiful Bill that was passed
80 hours a month.
summer. And if you
I work more than that in a week sometimes.
For 3 months in a 3-year period. This
Easy.
applies to Americans 55 through 64 years old.
That's not many hours.
Children 14 to 18 years old. This
But
also ends.
pause it for a second. But here's the deal: 3 months in a 3-year period, even if you're not doing those things. So it's you have 3 months to pick up your shit and get it straight.
Yeah.
Like we all come upon tough times. Life throws some
curveballs.
Oh man, boy does it. If anybody knows about life throwing curveballs, it's me. Usually I throw them at myself, but I mean,
you throw them at yourself.
But you have 3 months. 3 months to get back on, not even back on your feet. 3 months to go find a soup kitchen to volunteer at. 3 months to go pick up trash on the side of the road and make your community nicer. 3 months to go serve at serve at a homeless shelter.
Yeah.
3 months to figure out anything, or to get a job so you get paid like a normal, productive human being.
Right. And I think this is beautiful to me because it's about time that Americans stop paying for other Americans' families, stop paying for other Americans' kids. We didn't have the kids we didn't have their kids, so we shouldn't be paying for their kids. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean. Yes.
So it's about time that people work for what they eat, so we're not in the era anymore of just giving out free handouts to everybody. Everybody needs to go to work and provide for their own family, provide for their own kids.
And it's not like I can't speak from, it's my family. We're not a rich family. We're a very poor Appalachian family growing up. My family is doing much better now, but we have family members who are absolute trash. So it's not like I'm speaking from a place where it's like, he doesn't know or hasn't had experience with this or that, or no, this is the right thing to do.
Yeah, and it never was meant to be something that was long term, something that lasts a person's whole lifetime. It was meant for if a person did fall down for 2 or 3 months that they had some type of assistance. But after that, they give up. They give the assistance away and let somebody else use the assistance that's down for 2 or 3 months. And, they're able to sustain themselves, so it was never meant to be a long-term solution.
My mom had food stamps when I was a child, but my mother was trying to better her life at that time. She was in nursing school. She was also at night. She would go in at night after nursing school at midnight and paint houses until 4 or 5 in the morning.
Oh,
Had
wow.
me in a rocker or like a baby bed at the house while she was painting. Wow. So you got to have the hustle, guys.
You got to have the hustle.
You got to have a want to make your life better, to impress your children even. What are you teaching them? Mm-hmm. What are you teaching your kids?
That's true. Well, their hustle is to get money from the government. That's their hustle.
And it's the hustle they teach their children. And that's why you see these things, especially in the black community.
Yeah, it's like a cycle.
The father leaves and the mother doesn't have the ingrained, I don't even know what word I'm trying to come up with here.
They just don't have a role model to look up to mirror their life.
Absolutely.
With, so they kind of keep up the same process.
And that's the cycle you're talking about. And we see it all across. And it's not just in the black community. It's also in the poor Appalachian community where I'm from.
Yeah, a lot of communities it is involved in, definitely.
My cousin, who's absolute garbage. I probably shouldn't have said it was my cousin, but now you know. You can figure out her name if you want. She's trash. Send her a letter. Tell her I told you so. But her mother was the same way. God rest her soul. She's passed, but her mother was the same way. Lived off of welfare her whole life. Lived off of welfare and lawsuits.
And lawsuits?
Welfare and lawsuits her whole life.
Welfare and lawsuits.
It's a cycle, and somebody's got to step up and break the cycle.
Yeah, somebody has to break the cycle, definitely.
And if you don't do it for yourself, do it for your kids.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Definitely. So I think this right here is a step in the right direction of breaking that cycle. But let's continue with the video.
Exemptions for many homeless people, veterans, and young adults aging out of foster care. Here's snap by the numbers. 42 million Americans are on it, with a majority
42 million.
The poverty
1 in
line
8
in households that include children, seniors, or someone with a disability. Now, according to the Congressional Budget Office, the new requirements are expected to reduce the average.
Back that up a little bit. Back that up a little bit.
By about 2.4.
Here you go. I got you.
Below the poverty
Okay,
line.
let's pause this. So we got 42 million.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just pull up a calculator here. Let's just see what we're really looking at here. This is monthly, right? So we have 42 million.
42 million Americans on SNAP.
All right. 42 million times $332 average household. So we're looking at per month $14 billion in SNAP benefits per month.
Yeah, it's about around 14 billion a month.
The system needs to be reformed.
Yes, it does.
It needs to be reformed. There's just no way around it. No, it's
not any way around it. We are headed toward disaster. So hopefully this will help with heading toward disaster that we won't completely fall off the deep end, but we'll see.
Children, seniors, or someone with a disability. Now, according to the Congressional Budget Office, the new requirements are expected to reduce the average monthly number of SNAP recipients by about 2.4 million people over the next decade.
Not enough.
Here's
It's a start, but you're right, that's not enough.
Just like the deportations, not enough.
And even illegal immigrants using the program under the Biden administration.
That's the other thing. We got to lock down the fraud in it.
Every state for the.
Say that again?
That's the other thing. We got to lock down the fraud in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of fraud in it.
The reports I saw, there's millions of dead people receiving SNAP benefits.
Yeah, that's some fraud that's going on with
some people are receiving thousands of dollars a month.
And then some people actually receive it and sell it to somebody else too. That's another fraud that they do too.
Yeah, back in my not so great days, I was known to give somebody some money and get a bunch of SNAP benefits and go buy steaks for me and the boys at a highly discounted price. And I know that's not right. I'm not that person anymore. But like I said, in this podcast, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to pretend like I'm somebody.
Yeah, you got to keep it straight.
I'm going to keep it real with y'all at all times. I was a piece of shit. So, I have experience in seeing this, and it's not an uncommon thing. It is.
Yeah, people do that a lot.
It is very common.
Yeah. So, but all in all, that's kind of all I wanted to show you guys of that video. But I think, like I say, this is a beautiful thing, a beautiful step towards the right direction. But me personally, if I was president, if I was in Congress, I would be trying to go for even more. I would say eliminate SNAP for pretty much everybody except two categories. I would save it for disabled people. I would save it for elderly people. But if you are young, able-bodied, and can work a job, can work a 9 to 5, get your butt to work. It doesn't make sense that we have young, vibrant people that want to depend on somebody else to take care of their family, take care of their kids. You know what I mean?
And this was brought to you by the Elvin Handy campaign. Read the fine print. Vote Elvin. Vote Handy.
2028.
Handy 2028. You won't even be 35, will you?
I think I'd be around like 34. I'd be kind of breaking into almost 35.
Breaking into it. We got to get this man in politics.
Oh boy. All right, but that's all I kind of had for that topic. I hope you guys enjoyed that topic, and I hope you learned something from it. But we're gonna move on to our next topic. What you got for us?
All right, next topic of the day. I'd like to talk. So we were riding. Me and my wife were riding back from Tennessee from visiting family on Thanksgiving, and long drives. I actually drove 2,300 miles in 5 days, guys.
Woo, that's a lot.
From Florida to Tennessee to Virginia to back to Tennessee, back to Florida. So I was doing a lot of driving, had a lot of time to think. And one of the topics that came through my head was I just started thinking about the addiction levels that children are having and the negative ways that media, video games, etc. might be affecting them.
Yeah, a lot of.
And a thing that came in my head randomly is like, man, I wonder if there is a mathematical equation that you can come up with to figure out the increase in frames per second along with the increase of resolution. Like, I don't know, multiply them together and figure out how much more addictive or how much more response that it's giving a child.
Okay.
There is actually no real universally accepted scientific equation for that.
Really?
There are, they have equations that they think that it's just not there's no way to scientifically equate that accurately.
Okay.
But researchers in psychology, neuroscience, and media effects have identified clear patterns showing higher frame rates and higher resolution do increase attentional caption, emotional arousal, and habitual use of media and video games in children and adults. But obviously, it's much more significant effect on children. Absolutely.
I do love me a good video game, though.
Yeah, I can't lie. I'll be getting down on the sticks, guys. If you ever want to get on that Black Ops 7, let me know. I'll whoop that up.
Black Ops 7? You like Black Ops 7?
Yeah, I got it last week. Great game.
They said the campaign was horrible, though.
I don't play campaign mode.
Okay.
You know me. I don't play campaign mode on Grand Theft Auto. I don't play no game do I ever play campaign mode on. I always am about that multiplayer because I like to make people cry.
Oh, okay.
I like to hear the kids cry. They shouldn't be playing that shit anymore.
What about that Battlefield 7? Did you get the Battlefield 7?
No, I've never been a Battlefield fan myself.
Oh, you've never been to Battlefield?
I have played it. But if I'm going to go that direction, there are other games that are way more strategic and in-depth than Battlefield. If I'm going to go and leave Black Ops is high intensity, pop, which is probably why it's so addictive.
Yeah, it's highly addictive.
It's nonstop action.
Yeah, it's nonstop action.
But if I'm going to go away from that, there's some other games that I prefer to play where you play on teams of several hundred people.
Oh, wow.
And you're in like World War II and you have to take targets and things
so
like
maybe
that.
it's kind of like a military simulation?
Yeah, I love they're military simulation games. If I'm going to do something other than Black Ops or Call of Duty, I would usually go for a military simulation game because I want to be laid back, relaxing playing rather than not being able to go to sleep for 2 hours after I finish playing because my heart rate's through the dang roof.
Through the roof.
So a lot of what we're going to talk about in this is, I have a lot of studies here that I read through. I have some notes from them I like to go over.
Okay.
First study I like to go is the Lang study of 2013 and the Potter Bowles study of 2012. And they show that a higher frames per second is a stronger automatic attention capture. So when we were children growing up, for instance, we were probably working off, I don't know, our video games were probably less than 24 frames per second.
I mean, at most, I think I was getting 720p.
Yeah,
I think
most.
Only at the end of my childhood, I was getting 1080.
Well, I grew up on Zelda.
Now
I'm telling you guys my age. I had the original Zelda as a child, original NES. I played Mario 1. I played them all. So I'm an old head.
Woo.
Looking good, though. Looking good. White don't
Still
crack.
looking good.
White don't crack. Just playing. This guy's always going to look young. So it also shows that higher resolution, 1080 to 4K to 8K, raises your dopamine release in reward pathways. And it's actually identical to what gambling does to people's brain.
Oh,
so those reward pathways, a person who's gambling, it doesn't matter if they're winning or losing. They're receiving their dopamine drop. And most of them who are addicted gamblers don't care if they're winning or losing. Obviously, it's more fun to win.
It's just about experiencing the gambling.
Right. It's the experience of gambling itself. So that's one study I found here. Another one I was looking at was a Bracken study of 2010 and the Cummins study of 2021. And they were kind of similar studies. They showed that 4K video produces higher physiological arousal. So heart rate and skin conduction both increase by 20 to 30%. Along with going up to 4K is a 20 to 30% rise in screen checking, in demand screen checking. Your brain demands it of you.
Oh, wow.
So,
that's highly addictive.
Yeah, that's huge. 4K, it produces higher arousal than 720 and that's with identical content. The content can be the same. You can watch it in 720, 1080, 2K, 4K. Every time you step it up, that rate of arousal increases.
Wow.
So that's huge.
That is huge.
Fast-paced content plus high frames per second plus high resolution. Now we're talking Black Ops. Because it's fast-paced content, you die and respawn, quick moving.
High resolution.
Yep. It's especially developing for developing brains because it overstimulates the dopamine, and it suppresses your frontal cortex. So basically, it's suppressing your ability to self-control.
Oh, I see.
So while adults, we've learned to self-control over years through bad experiences, tough repercussions for our actions for making impulsive decisions. Children have yet to attain that knowledge and then that wisdom yet.
Right,
so
that's true.
That's huge. Moving on.
Definitely true.
Yes, definitely. So then we got the Nicolin study of 2014, the Anderson-Kerkorian, and I know that this is crazy sounding, but I just want to give you the guys in case you want to go back, check the data, read the studies yourself. Sometimes you might not believe someone, and maybe not this week, but in coming weeks, I'll be going back and adding links into all the studies and information that we're providing into our podcast.
Okay.
That seems just so that way we're not looking like liars or making stuff up.
Yeah, I think Stephen Crowder does that.
Yeah, I think he links every.
Yeah, he links everything. Now that I think about it, everything.
Even his videos that he references, he links everything.
So you know that what he's saying is true.
Right. So those studies in Nicolin and Anderson-Kerkorian show that children under 10 are especially vulnerable because their brains are still pruning and myelinating visual motion pathways. Okay, so I know that sounds like a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Most people aren't going to understand that. I didn't understand that. My wife is in med school. Had to get her to help me out a little bit.
I'm pretty sure she understood that.
Yeah, she understood it, and she had to break it down for me. I'm not going to lie. She's a very smart woman.
Great.
Synaptic pruning, children have a use it or lose it when it comes to neuro pathways. So if these are not refined, so as you're taking in information from around the world, whether in a natural setting, for instance, you're refining your neural pathways. You have all these connections of your neural pathways. And as you grow, experience, and your brain develops, some of those neural pathways are cut out because they're not used.
Okay.
So what's happening by putting this amount of information into a child's brain at once, it's preventing those neural pathways from actually pruning. So it's like pruning a plant, you're cutting your flowers, making them grow better, etc. So and they grow better when you prune them. They're able to perform day-to-day activities better. So it prevents that pruning process.
Okay.
And what happens is, as you age, and this is irreversible, guys. This isn't one of those things that we can reverse it now. Once these synaptic pathways are not pruned, there's no recovering. So that is going to continue throughout your whole adulthood. And I see that as being a high contributing factor to ADHD, to violence among children. All these things that kids are suffering from at a higher rate every year. It seems like this is obviously not the only contributing factor, but it seems like to me it could be
one
a
of
massive
the contributing factors.
Absolutely. Let's see. So things like reading a book won't interest them. Going out and bird watching, or sitting at the park and people watching, or doing any of these activities that are actually really enjoyable. As an adult, that are really enjoyable.
The kids don't go outside like they used to.
No, man. I mean, you know me. I love to fish, and whether you're catching fish or not, it's relaxing. It's calming.
It
you
is.
Don't have all those synapses firing. It's a relaxing experience.
It definitely is.
These kids aren't going to be able to have relaxing experiences.
Yeah, because they're so amped up
all the time.
All the time.
And there's no recovering from that. Those pathways are open for life. If the pruning does not occur as a child, it's not going to occur. Wow. So it's a lifelong thing here. And the brain will only be activated for those people for the rest of their life through high info situations.
High info.
So let's see. We got a little. Let's get a little nerdy on it here. Let's get a little nerdy. So something at 720p at 30 frames per second. We're gonna call that our baseline moving forward.
Okay.
Which for us, maybe for you because you're younger than me, but for me that's not even my baseline. My baseline's probably 240p and 16 frames per second. I grew up watching Wacky Racers and Donald Duck and Scooby-Doo and all these older cartoons I grew up on. So that's even a smaller baseline. We're going to increase the baseline to something like what you would have grown up with.
Like 720p.
Yeah, which seems rational. You move to 4K at 60 frames per second. And that is 3 to 5 times more information per second going into your brain.
Wow.
You bump that to 120 frames per second at 4K, you have 10 to 15 times more raw visual data than, for instance, what I was watching, which would be, a 90s cartoon, let's say Rugrats or something, was 480p, 30 frames per second. 10 to 15 times more data is going into their brain.
10 to 15 times more.
So that falls back to that pruning process. They can't prune because they need all those synapses.
I see.
Let's see. Modern screens are what you would call an artificial supranormal stimuli, which basically means motion faster and smoother than anything in nature. 120 frames per second. You don't see that in nature. So you can go watch a NASCAR race. Your visual acuity, what you're taking in through your environment, you're never going to receive that. It's not natural.
It's not natural at all.
So this isn't the way the brain was designed or built for millions and millions of years. We've been processing information the exact same.
And now they're starting to put out a lot of 8K, so it's gonna get even worse.
And as excited as I am, my children won't watch it.
Won't watch 8K?
No, my children won't watch 4K.
No, not even 4K.
My children aren't gonna get screen time, man.
Okay.
My children won't have screen time. Maybe they'll get to watch a movie once or twice a week.
Once or twice a week.
What
about you? Are you giving them a cell phone at an early age?
And
no,
there will be no cell phone usage in the Dean house. I don't know what the appropriate time is for someone to have a cell phone, but listen, if your kid gets injured at school, if something happens, and your kid calls you because they're injured or something happens, your child that's 10 years old is not going to be able to give you any information about what really occurred.
No.
But the adult who would call from the office would. So that's worth considering.
Yeah.
So when it comes to habit forming risk, it's like it's log 2. I don't know. It's another formula they've kind of devised.
Oh, another formula?
That they theoretically think might represent this. So 1990s cartoons, 24 FPS at 480. And we're going to call that the baseline for the habit forming risk.
Okay.
When you move to YouTube, you're at 1080p at 60 frames per second. So that is 4 to 6 times higher of a habit forming risk.
But you can bump YouTube to 4K.
Yes, you can now. So I guess actually, good point. TikTok and Reels are all 4K.
Oh, wow. They're 4K.
Or they have the ability to be 4K.
Ability to be 4K.
I imagine most people are not uploading in 4K, or not all people, but most are probably.
Right.
At 60 to 120 frames per second, that is an 8 to 15 times higher habit forming risk. So now you're going to get into something really crazy. What are the kids all about? What's their favorite game? 2 favorite kids games. This is easy. You got this.
2 favorite kids games.
Yeah, video games. You got this.
I'm trying to think.
Fortnite?
Yeah, Fortnite. Okay,
obviously.
yeah, Fortnite.
And Roblox.
Oh, Roblox.
Yeah, you hear the kids talking about it all the time.
I think Minecraft is pretty big with kids too.
Is it?
Yeah, Minecraft.
Which I don't know much about Minecraft. I've seen it played, but I would imagine that's a little less stimulating.
I think it's less stimulating. It's more of like you're building a world.
Right. So maybe it's stimulating in a different manner. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I'm not going to pretend to be Minecraft expert. We can bring Dr. Lady in here. She likes her Minecraft. She might be able to tell you a little more. But let's see. Fortnite and Roblox is 120 to 240 FPS. It can be 240 frames per second if you play on PC.
Wow.
And at 4K, you're looking at a 30 times higher addictive rate.
30 times.
30 times higher chance of becoming addictive and addictive quantitative addictiveness to it.
Whoa.
That's massive.
That is massive.
It's actually scary, which it also explains why you have kids screaming and fighting about, I don't want to stop playing my game. I have a friend who had a kid that was like that for a while. Thankfully, he woke up and has really done a good job at reducing his kid's screen time. It seems to fix the kid a lot.
Oh, okay. That's great.
But, that it's a massive amount of addiction coming there.
That is.
Now, I guess let's get into some of the problems. The higher values strongly correlate with shorter attention spans and ADHD. There is a massive correlation. The cravings are massive. So, kid doesn't want to do anything else. They don't want to go play sports. Kids won't even eat sometimes.
Whoa.
And I won't pretend like I've never been susceptible to that. I used to be in a clan in Black Ops 2 or 3, and
you just go without eating?
We'd have all-day clan wars on Sunday because we were competing to be the best clan in the world.
Whoa.
Which we were for 2 years straight.
But you'll go without eating the whole day.
Oh, I would miss meals. I'd be late to meals. And that's actually why when I was doing this life transformation and getting into bodybuilding, I sold all my video games.
Oh, okay.
I have them again now because I feel like I have enough responsibility.
Well, I feel like video games is more of a luxury for a person that's already made it or close to making it.
Absolutely. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
I mean, if you haven't made it, you really shouldn't be wasting your time.
No.
Playing.
No, if you haven't made it, you need to take all that time and focus on your purpose and get to your purpose or get close to your purpose and then spend time on video games.
Absolutely, which ties back into what we were talking about earlier. A life without purpose is no life at all.
Right.
I got a lot of references to key studies. We don't need that. Get out of here. Okay. So obviously it amplifies addiction risk. We've been through all this. Preschoolers show faster habit formation with a 28% addiction prevalence tied to high resolution devices. So I'm going to give you, this is all going to be under like a child specific information, I guess, for age groups and stuff. So preschoolers, a 28% higher prevalence of addiction when they use high resolution devices. According to studies, it seems that it predicts a 15 to 25% higher rate of ADHD-like symptoms and reduced executive function. So, you're starting your child out at an early age, already pushing them towards ADHD. Like I said, I don't think this is the only thing that results in ADHD.
But it definitely seems like it's a contributing factor, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's other contributing factors. What else would you say? I mean,
ADHD, I would say some of the chemicals in the food that we eat. That's why RFK is trying to take some of these chemicals out of our food, because it's affecting our health. It's affecting our brain activity.
The red dye, for instance.
Yeah, the red dye, things of that nature. So yeah, I would say it's quite a few things that are leading to ADHD. And then also, you gotta think, back in the day, a good old whooping help as well.
Got me one or two of those in the day.
Because I mean, you hyper and your mom put that belt on you, you're gonna sit down somewhere.
Black Southern man right here. You heard it. You heard it. You heard it. He said, that whooping. That whooping come out. You know it's going down. I love it. Love it. I love it. So another thing that the relevance of this is that it causes a deficit in prefrontal cortex development. So, you know, this has to do with your ability to regulate emotion, your ability to not be violent, your ability to have impulse control. All these are in your prefrontal cortex. So exposure as a child that young it's creating serious. The ramifications aren't just, oh, he might be ADHD and we got to give him some pills, which pills are terrible. Fix the problem.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're neither here nor there.
Yeah, I think some of the side effects, maybe not those pills, but some of the side effects to this medication might be another contributing factor for ADHD too.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking on my wife again, when I first met her, she was on ADHD medication. I believe it was Adderall. And, you know, did it help her sit down for 8 hours and get a full study day done? Absolutely. But her grades were suffering because her memory retention when taking those medications was nil. So now she's completely free of it. She's never been doing better in her life and her grades, her ability to remember things.
That's wonderful.
It's the recall has really come back. But I mean, what do you expect when taking an amphetamine? It's not going to help your memory. It's just not going to help your memory.
And what did they say? Adderall is close to the chemistry of meth, right?
Very close. So methamphetamine is a specific kind of amphetamine, whereas Adderall, I believe, is a blend of I think maybe.
But it's very close.
Maybe 3 kinds of amphetamines, and I think they're more balanced amphetamines, but it hurts memory. It hurts memory, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
So this is all from the Anderson-Krikorian study of 2015. And it showed longitudinal data on 300 plus toddlers linked 2 hours a day of high video resolution to a 10 to 20% development stoppage in language and problem solving.
Wow.
So you could experience your child from exposing them to this high resolution material could experience a 20% delay in language and problem solving. You hear about kids now all the time not talking until they're 3, not talking until they're 4, not talking. You know what I mean? This is becoming a major issue.
I wonder, is that issue affecting our K through 12 and high school, middle school, that educational period, because we have a lot of illiteracy rate in the country is really bad. Our kids can't do math anymore. I wonder, is that correlation there?
Well, any delay, you know, the only way you make up for delay is by working overtime. And you can't imagine that they're working overtime because they're just going to continue to be exposed to the same stimuli. So that's real interesting. Let's see here. Some other relevances. You know, it hurts the reward loops. Let's move on to some a different age group though. So under 5s, moving out of the very small children, preschoolers to right around 5, under 5. 60 FPS exposure shows thinner cortical areas of reasoning. So having 60 frames per second damages their ability to reason. So whether something bad happens to the child and they're like, oh, I need to not do that again next time, or these are my options and I need to figure out which one is the best option to not get in trouble, or to even, I don't know, to get something done, to whatever the case. That's huge. That's huge.
And that's going to affect their reasoning with their parents. When their parents tell them to do something, get up and go maybe take the trash out of something.
And what do you see the parents do? The kid can't reason, and they hand him the phone again.
Yeah, the kid doesn't calm him down.
The kid doesn't like the answer of, you can't play games right now, or you can't do this right now. Yeah. And rather than remove it, they just hand it back to him. The reasoning's gone for the child, but let's be honest, the reasoning is gone for the adults as well.
Yeah, parents are starting to use technology starting to use phones as pretty much pacifiers. You know?
And it is so damaging to the children.
It is.
So damaging. So let's move on to 3 to 15-year-olds. Key finding, the high resolution, high FPS is an arousal increase by 25 to 50%. That affects their dopamine and habit response. It doubles their craving intensity for the games. And according to the studies I've found, which are addiction reports from study Ding et al. D3280, whatever.
Something.
Yeah, something. The games, Roblox and Fortnite, are extremely high-risk games.
Really?
Extremely high-risk games. So, for the addiction specifically, but the addiction comes with all these other factors involved. So it's really scary.
That is scary.
Oh, man. My passion is children, young people, and helping them develop, and just seeing all this.
Yeah, because the children are the future. So if they're messed up, the future of this country is going to be messed up.
And also, when you have I don't know how your childhood was. Mine could have. I had great parents for sure. My childhood had some real weird off-kilter hiccups to it.
Mm-hmm.
That affected me for life. It took me until my mid-30s to really overcome some of these things. So, deeper dive. It looks like there is no safe threshold for children for high-spec media. There's no safe threshold according to studies. So really, they should not be taking it in at all. You need the guidelines. Yeah, let's go into the guidelines, and these are going to be developed by major organizations, such as World Health Organization, the American Academy of Pediatrics, etc.
Oh, WHO? I don't trust WHO.
I don't trust them either. But on this one, I think we can
trust them on that one.
I'm not going to trust them with COVID.
Yeah, definitely not that. I think Trump, if I'm not mistaken, he broke the relationship up between us and WHO.
I know we're not giving him money anymore.
Yeah, we're not giving him money.
Now, I don't know if Biden reversed that.
I think Biden reversed it, but I believe that Trump reversed it back.
Okay, okay. So guidelines, you need to prioritize quality over rigid limits. So the limits that you're giving your children, 1 hour of screen time, 2 hours of screen time, 3 hours of screen time, those are less important than the actual quality of the information they're taking in. Obviously, because they're highly addictive. They highly stress co-viewing. So if you're watching something, your child's watching something, you need to be watching it with them. Watching what happens.
Okay.
And I guess the big problem is, these things are causing kids to need up to 13 hours of sleep per night to overcome and reset their bodies from the amount of
that's more than the average.
Yeah.
Wow, that's way more than average.
They say it takes 10 to 13 hours of sleep a night to overcome the addiction overload or the dopamine overload from these things.
And that's not happening because kids stay up late, wee hours of the morning playing video games, so they're probably only getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
And then they're back up early to class, which they're not focusing in and not learning anything and unable to absorb the information which is being given.
Wow.
So that's huge. So let's get into the actual restrictions. 0 to 18 months. They should have absolutely no screen time. None. Except video chat. If you're talking to your grandpa, grandpa, you want to see grandpa? That's acceptable. That's acceptable.
Just downgrade to 720p.
Yeah. So, and you doing that is going to prevent those language and developmental issues.
Okay.
Who wants a kid that can't talk at 3 or 4 years old?
Yeah. Don't want that. Nobody wants that.
It's scary.
Right.
Moving on to 18 to 24 months, you can slowly introduce some high quality things. I don't know how I feel about this because I know about some of the writers at Sesame Street, etc. But Sesame Street's 30 FPS. You could do something like that with co-viewing only 30 minutes a day. And that's for 18 to 24 months. So you must be with the child present.
Okay.
And something with, lower frames per second, possibly lower resolution would be good.
Okay.
2 to 5 years old, 1 hour a day of educational content only. That's all the way up to 5 years old.
Oh, wow.
How many times do you see a 4-year-old holding a cell phone in a restaurant?
A lot. I see that a lot.
Every time I go out to eat.
Yeah.
Every time. They need to be avoiding fast-paced, fast FPS. or a high FPS, high resolution, the same kind of deal.
Okay.
6+ years, and that, as I said before, this is from the AAP, American Academy of Academics. 6+ years, consistent limits to protect sleep and activity, no screens 1 hour before bedtime. We've heard that for a long time, though. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard that.
I think I have heard that before.
Yeah, that's something I have struggled with for many years. I'm now going back to reading before I go to bed, and it's really helping my sleep quality improve.
Oh, that's good. That's great.
That's really nice. Cap gaming for 6 years and plus at 1 hour. 1 hour of gaming at a time.
1 hour of gaming.
And, an hour of gaming with a break, they suggest.
With a break. Do they suggest what type of resolution to go with?
It says to cap the high resolution and high FPS gaming at 1 hour.
Okay.
So for teens, this is a little more intense. You need to be a little more aware of your teens. They're going through a lot of physiological changes at that time. So it says, you need to be balancing it with mental health checks.
Okay.
You need to be talking to your kids. You need to be active with your kids, asking them how they feel, what they're feeling inside, what they're going through, what things they like, don't like, what's affecting their day, etc. Be in touch. This just comes down to being a good parent, really.
Yeah, it does.
You need to monitor them heavily for signs of addiction. And they need to have less than 2 hours a day of social media.
And now that you think about it, when you said it just comes down to be a good parent, I think a lot of parents push technology, phones, video games off on their children to relieve them of the responsibility of being parents. You know what I mean? So the technology is the parent.
Why'd you have a kid?
Exactly.
Why'd you have a kid? Not that I'm advocating against having children. I'm just advocating on raising them properly so that way they can grow up to be healthy, happy, and successful.
Exactly.
But yeah, 2 hours, anything over 2 hours of social media is highly linked to depression in teenagers. So there is AAP does offer a family media plan, which helps to rebuild a child's attention. But like I said, those that pruning, once it's not done, there's an issue. There's an issue that may be unresolvable.
And you said that's irreversible.
Yeah, if it goes on too long, it can be irreversible because your brain doesn't develop forever. At a certain point, your brain stops developing. Especially that pruning process. That's meant for young children. You got to get through it. So yeah, and I mean it's pretty much the same with the WHO. No screen time 0 to 1, limited 1 to 2, 2 to 4, less than an hour, no fast-paced content, blah blah blah. All about pretty much the same.
Okay.
And another big thing I guess we should remember. Well, actually, first let's go to the rationale. That high exposure, high resolution, high frames per second bothers your sleep and cognition, like we discussed. And we saw in COVID, we had what were kids doing during COVID? Nothing but video games.
They were in all day long.
52% increase in worsened outcomes for children.
Wow. And notice when they went back to school, their grades dropped. They weren't performing as well as they did before COVID. Inept. Socially inept, can't communicate with people. That's very true.
So it's a huge problem. And I guess another thing to consider is as a parental role, there's a 28% addiction heritability via modeling. So kids mimic their parents. Kids want to be like mom. Kids want to be like dad. If you're sitting around on your screen all day long, you're showing your kid how to deal with the world, how to move forward, what they should be doing. And so it's up to you to lead the way. It's up to you to take charge of your children.
Yeah.
We all wish for a happier, healthier communities, happier, healthier country, and it's up to the parents to really, really turn this process.
Yeah, it's up to the parents to lead the way.
And that's what I got for you on that topic, guys.
Right. I like that. That was a good topic.
Appreciate it.
Informative. Okay, guys, for our next topic and final topic, we're going to talk about nationwide injunctions implemented by federal judges. Now, this has been a hot take this year, given that the Trump administration has faced hundreds of injunctions by federal judges. Now, I'm very interested in this topic because I wanted to find out, can the president truly get around the federal injunctions and do something about it? And I also wanted to find out, are federal injunctions constitutionally legal in the United States? So first, I want to read over this article for you guys. So the Supreme Court ruled earlier this year of how they felt about nationwide injunctions implemented by federal judges. It says in June 2025, the Supreme Court ruled in the case of Trump versus Casa Inc. that federal courts generally lack the statutory authority under the Judiciary Act of 1789
going way
to
back.
issue universal injunctions that extend beyond what is necessary to provide complete relief to the parties who are actually suing. The court held that such sweeping relief, which bars enforcement of a law or policy against everyone nationwide, is not an equitable remedy traditionally accorded by courts of equity at the nation's founding. This decision effectively limits the power of lower federal courts to issue broad injunctions that stop federal policies from being enforced against non-parties to the lawsuit. Now, I like the way that reads, but I did a little further research on that. This ruling was not a complete mandate by the Supreme Court. So since this ruling was not a complete mandate by the Supreme Court, it allows federal judges to have certain discretion over certain situations where they can still issue nationwide injunctions. So I'm going to go down to the discretion that federal judges have in certain situations. So it says the ruling acknowledged that broad relief may still be appropriate in two specific situations. Number one, complete relief requirement. If stopping a government policy nationwide is the only way to genuinely protect the specific plaintiff, in quotation marks, if limiting the injunction to the plaintiff would be unworkable or require them to disclose protected information.
Oh, that's a monkey wrench.
Right. And number two, certified class action lawsuits. The ruling does not limit the traditional power of courts to issue injunctions in certified class action lawsuits, which are specifically designed to provide relief for a large defined group of people, often nationwide. So as you guys can see, the Supreme Court did rule that likely federal judges cannot reissue nationwide injunctions. But since it wasn't a clear mandate by the Supreme Court, there's still leeway and there's still discretion for federal judges to step in there and put injunctions on government agencies, put injunctions on even the president of the United States if they deem fit that that situation fits that criteria.
Why would the Supreme Court leave this so open? Like, that's not a decision at all. That's like saying, don't do it, but you can if you want.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know why the Supreme Court left that so open, but I guess they left room for interpretation for certain situations when it comes to nationwide injunctions.
But who's left to interpret it? The judges.
Right, exactly.
So they still left the power with the same people.
Right. So they kind of, what the Supreme Court did, they kind of limited the power a little bit where they can't use it broadly in every situation, but they still can use it in certain situations. We get to my next topic. So if federal judges can still use this power in certain situations and they use this power on the president, what can the president do to actually get around this problem? So through my research, I found out that pretty much the president can do barely anything to get around this problem.
What?
So pretty much the only thing the president can do is really go up through the appellate process and hope that it reaches the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court overturns it.
So years of bullshit waiting.
Pretty much.
By the time that's over, the president's gone.
Exactly. And also, well, one would also say, well, okay, well, what if a president such as Trump, he just say, forget about it. Let's just go around what the federal judges are saying. Let's go around the injunctions and just do it anyways.
That's my big question. Just do it anyway.
So I found out in taking that approach, there's two things that can happen with that approach.
And you mean, like, for instance, when a judge is like, you cannot send the National Guard into an area.
Right.
Well, just fucking just ignore them and send them anyway and wait for the repercussions. Right.
And that is even easier to implement for a federal judge because that federal judge has more discretion over that district where that National Guard is coming. That's not even a nationwide injunction.
That's considered a group because it's a city.
That's just protecting that certain district, that certain area. So that's even a stronger case for a federal judge. So that's why you see how in Chicago, Trump can't really bring the National Guard in there because a federal judge blocked that with an order. So I found out also when we talk about what can Trump do to get around it, and if he did go around it, and if he did go around their injunction and just ignored their order, what are the consequences? What are the things that would happen to Trump?
Good question. Good question.
So the things that are happening to Trump are two things. He will be either held in criminal contempt or he would be held in civil contempt. Now, this civil and criminal contempt is usually not leveraged against the president. But
right.
The problem is the president does not work alone. He also has administrative staff. He also has a large administration. The criminal contempt and civil contempt can be leveraged against his administration as well.
Even though he's giving the order.
Yes.
But don't they have to follow his order?
Well, that's the thing. If Trump gives the order to go around the federal judges, the people within his administration, if they follow his order, they're pretty much going around the order as well. You get what I'm saying? So if the judge,
as an individual, they're considering it.
Right. So if a judge, I'll show you an example later on where a judge said, well, I'm going to hold the Trump administration in criminal contempt. So he didn't say I'm going to hold Trump in criminal contempt. He said I'm going to hold the Trump administration in criminal contempt. And I'm going to give you an example of judges doing this in this article. So in this article, it says public officials are well within the scope of the judiciary's contempt power. Although federal courts have never held a sitting president in contempt of court, they have used the power to compel action by and punish government agencies, officials, and civil servants responsible for carrying out government actions. The Environmental Protection Agency, for instance, was held in civil contempt of court for failure to comply with a court order mandating that the agency preserve certain records. Likewise, in 2019, then Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos was found in contempt for violating a court order to stop collecting on loans owed by students defrauded by for-profit colleges. The court fined the Department of Education $100,000 and ordered that the money be directed to the defrauded students. In another example, a district judge ordered the arrest. So this is the criminal contempt. The arrest of a Kentucky county clerk who had disregarded a court order to resume issuing marriage license, which her office had suspended to protest the Supreme Court decision to legalize same-sex marriage. So
I remember that. That was a real debacle.
Yeah, it was a real debacle. But you can see how they can leverage contempt, civil contempt or criminal contempt, if an agency or an official or even the president goes around the order.
Right.
So that's why I go back to really, it's nothing much a president can really do to really, I would say, get around court orders, get around federal injunctions, because they either will be slapped with a civil or criminal contempt, or even if they have the presidential power, because it's one caveat that I saw with Trump where he could leverage his presidential power. So I'll give you an example. Let's say someone in his administration was tasked with going around an injunction, and the judge wants to go after this administration for
1 second. Let me turn this. I got work, people. Turn off all notifications.
Oh,
there we go. My apologies.
Oh, that's okay. And let's say someone in the Trump administration is going around an injunction, and a judge is going to slap a criminal contempt on them. Now, Trump has presidential power, so he could simply presidential pardon that person.
Right.
But the problem is finding the person that's willing to go through that in the first place.
Oh yeah.
So it's really a weak area.
Go through hell for me and I'll drag you out of it. Well, that takes a lot of trust.
Right, exactly. It takes a lot of trust. So it's really a weak area for a president to really go around an injunction. So like I say, the biggest thing a president can do is do what really Trump is doing right now, is to go up through the appellate process and just hope that the Supreme Court overturns the injunction by the federal judge. And then, so I have one more example for you guys of a video that explains a federal judge actually going after Trump's administration as a whole for a criminal contempt.
With the emerging constitutional crisis, as U.S. District Court Judge James Boasberg said Wednesday, he found, quote, probable cause to hold the Trump administration in criminal contempt after its willful disregard of his order last month to halt flights transferring immigration detainees from the U.S. to El Salvador, where they ended up at the notorious Sikot mega prison.
So did you hear that? I want to play that one more time.
Yeah, play that again.
To hold the Trump administration in
so notice how she said to hold the Trump administration, not to hold Trump in criminal contempt, but to hold the entire administration. Let's hear that one more time.
Found, quote, probable cause to hold the Trump administration in criminal contempt after its willful disregard of his order last month to halt flights transferring immigration detainees from the U.S. to El Salvador, where they ended up at the notorious Sikot mega prison. Judge Boasberg noted in his order yesterday, Trump officials have since, quote, failed to rectify or explain their actions.
So guys, I wanted to show you that little excerpt for that video just to give you an example of a federal judge issuing a criminal contempt on the whole Trump administration, not just Trump himself, but the whole administration. So I want to say, I'm glad I shared that topic with you guys, but I wanted you guys to really understand the power that the judicial branch has in this country, which I never knew before this second term of the Trump administration. And I really enjoyed researching this topic. And I would implore you guys, a lot of times we put the president and the presidency as something important to vote for. But I would also say that you need to be looking out for what judges you're voting for in your districts, especially these federal judges that are very rogue.
Aren't the federal judges appointed by presidents?
That you might be right about that. 'Cause I thought that a federal judge
and I believe that Biden, don't quote me on this, I believe he appointed more federal judges than any president in history.
I see. Okay, so they're appointed by...
I believe so. Let's confirm real quick. Let me just confirm.
Yeah, confirm that.
I'm not trying to sound crazy, and I feel like an idiot.
I have heard presidents confirming federal judges.
Or appointed.
Or appointing federal judges.
Right. Yes, they appoint the federal judges, but the process requires the advice and consent of the Senate for confirmation. So if you have the House and the Senate, or if you have the Senate and the presidency, that's how you push through a lot of judges.
Okay, so really, when we're voting, we need to vote in the best senators,
right,
and representatives.
Well, that's why it's so important to keep the Senate, and that's also why it's so important to keep the presidency, because the president's appointing these judges. I've watched actually a lot of federal judge appointment interviews on Forbes, for instance, and it's funny. It's always down party lines.
It's party lines.
It's
okay.
a party line vote 99% of the time. Or 99% of the time I've watched, it's always straight down party lines, no breaking of party lines at all. So that's why it's so important to vote in all elections.
Okay. So I was mistaken then. So we need to just really focus on all elections, focus on the Senate, focus on House of Representatives, making sure everybody is on one page,
right,
in order to get the type of federal judges that we want. Okay. All right. Yes, because we really have a system where we need every branch to be on the same page in order to move forward in this country. If we have one branch that's on the right direction, but another branch is not, it causes a riffraff, and we don't get anywhere. So we need a balance and a union between all three branches. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, we do. And unfortunately, if you look at Congress, they've given up all their power over the years.
Yeah,
they have literally had their, and it's interesting to watch. It's interesting to watch as I've grown up. They have allowed their power to be superseded or taken, and it's not like, oh, somebody voted something in or something happened to change the power. No. The power is just seized by the judiciary. And when they do so, Congress doesn't go back and act in the form of passing laws or defending themselves in this, and also the Supreme Court doesn't step in.
Yeah, because they don't like big conflict.
Right. So they don't. Not only is the Supreme Court not stepping in, but then Congress is also not passing laws to prevent this kind of thing. So Congress has kind of become the lame duck in our adult life.
Yeah, that's very true. They definitely have become a lame duck. They don't take a stance on anything.
Which you can't say they should be anything other than a lame duck, because they can't even approve a budget.
Yeah, they cannot. Which and sometimes they might be doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
They got some ace up their sleeve. Yeah. But that's true. They're lackadaisical. They can't approve a budget. They're terrible. They don't stand for anything.
I mean, if you go and look at what they pass and what they don't pass, they pass a bunch of nonsense. But the quality of what they get through is pathetic. Pathetic. They don't do anything, and the opportunities they have to really help the president or help the country in general, they don't even try. They don't pass laws that are like, we haven't seen anything pertaining to immigration. Well, have we seen any big immigration bills? No.
Not really. Other than in the big beautiful bill, I believe they increased the spending that the Trump administration can use for immigration.
Right.
But
why not change immigration law?
Yeah, immigration law needs to be
You can't do that without the House. You need the House and the Senate to vote, and pass, and the president to sign it.
To be honest with you, I think we need a moratorium on immigration and just stop it for 2 to 3 years, I would say, and kind of just reset the process, you know?
And I know the president's trying to do something like that now from that tweet we discussed earlier, but we need Congress.
You need Congress to agree.
Step in and pass some laws. I mean, we've only got one more year of a Republican majority, and we might not even have a year because it's Christmas coming up, and this is when people leave. So we have MGT is leaving. Several other congressional members and senators are thinking about leaving. You never see a senator leave. They'll talk about it. They'll never actually leave. They'll die there. Crypt keepers. But there's a lot of congressional. Republicans may lose the majority before midterms.
That's true. That's very true. They actually might lose their majority. You know, I hope not.
And what have we gotten done in the meantime? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing.
Yeah, I hope we pick it up next year. We got to pick up the pace next year.
Yeah, one more year, guys. One more year to see how much these spineless cowards do for us.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to bet on nothing.
You bet on nothing?
Yeah.
Well, I hope something happens. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. We covered a lot of fun, interesting topics. I hope you learned something. Tune in next week because we have another fresh set of topics for you so you can learn some more things and the ins and outs of different things. What do you have to say?
We have no clue what we'll be talking about next week, but the news will definitely provide.
Oh yeah, the news is always involving with something new, something fresh.
Oh yeah. So you guys have a great week. We really appreciate you guys tuning in again. We're gonna keep trying to put them out every week. Sorry about the delays last week. We had some issues on X, some issues on Rumble and uploading, but I think we have those resolved, so that should not be a continuing issue.
All right, and remember, stay focused and stay on your purpose.
Absolutely. Have a great day, guys.
All right, peace.